Hello, I'm Missy Evans with the Hartselle Chamber, and I'm here with Virginia Alexander, who is running for place number 4 for the City Council re-election. And don't forget, Election Day is the next week, Tuesday the 25th. And if you have any questions about how to vote, or even by Thursday you can apply for an absentee ballot, please reach out to Rita Lee, our at the City Council, excuse me, let me start over. Any questions about elections, you can reach out to Rita Lee at the Hartselle City office, or you can go to their website at hartselle.org. So here we go. I'm pausing because I'm trying to remember, is that the correct thing for the website? Okay,
it is.
So it's hartselle.org. Okay, so thank you so much for being here, Virginia, and we just wanted to take a second to get to know you more and have an opportunity for you to share your heart for Hartselle. And you've had a lot of experience serving, and I wanted to make sure everyone else could hear what is going on in your mind about this upcoming election and the reasons why you see yourself as the best candidate.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Missy.
Oh, it's my pleasure, as always. And so let's just start out talking a little bit about your background and reasons why you're seeking re-election. So why don't you tell everybody, why are you running for City Council? And if you are elected, what are going to be some of your priorities?
Okay, I am running for City Council, place 4. I am already in the slot, and we have got so much going on for this town. The town is reviving, and it's building up, and it's just looking great, and I would like the opportunity to continue that. We've got some things on the front burner that is coming down, and we're right on the edge of bringing some more businesses in. And so we'd love the opportunity to be able to continue that with the mayor and the council that's doing a wonderful job.
Yes, very good. Well, is there a particular issue that motivates you to serve on City Council?
Okay. The biggest motivation is I love it. You have to like this because it's very time consuming, and you have to thoroughly enjoy going out and searching businesses and searching for what can make Hartselle the best place to live. You want to be able to bring your families here and enjoy them, and so it's always on the burner of Hartselle if you're on City Council, and it's within your heart. You always try to look out for the best for the city.
Yes, I hear you on that. That is so true. So, you know, there are those that have known you for quite a while, but there's going to be those that are just meeting you maybe for the first time on this video. Right. So why don't you share with everyone a little bit about what civic and community activities and organizations that you've been involved in over the years?
Okay. I have been involved in several civic and activities in the chamber. I'm a member of the chamber, worked with Depot Days years ago, worked with Serve Day this year. Yeah. Also, the NARCOG, I was served on that board years ago and thoroughly enjoyed it. That's really building, and it is just a format of several of the North Alabama government agencies together. Also, as my children were growing up here, I was the PTO president for Crestline. That's some activity that you get into and keep you very busy. Along with that, I have at the present time serving as the 911 Board of Directors Chairman, and that keeps your feet going. You've got to make sure that you have got a good place for your dispatchers to be. They are the ones that really take care of your first responders, and so you've got to have everything in balance for that. So another organization would be my church. I love my church. And very active there, and so that is some things that assist a few of the organizations that I've been a part of.
And I'm sure your involvement in those have helped you to learn how to be a leader and a servant leader in a lot of unique and different ways.
Every one of them has its limit. It just trains you more and more each year.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah. Well, we're going to shift a little bit and give you a chance just to help maybe educate the public on what it means to govern the city through the City Council. So can you tell everybody, what do you see as the primary work of the City Council?
The City Council is a listening ear for the public, but one of the main primary works is you can't go forward with things if the City Council doesn't approve them. And they are the policy maker and the ordinance making
Yes.
body.
Yes.
They are the government. They are the legislative body of that.
Yes.
So that's what our role is. Our role is not to run the different departments. We have a mayor that does a wonderful job with that.
Yes, that's right.
So our job is to stay out of that as much as possible. Now, if there is a complaint or someone would like for us to carry something to one of the department head or the mayor, I usually would talk to both of them. I wouldn't just go over the mayor's head, but I would contact him and also a department and just let them know that there's a concern out there. I would also go a step further, and I would go, if it's at all possible in my power, to go and check out that concern. But also the department heads and the mayor normally goes and checks out whatever the concern of the citizen is.
Yes, yes. Well, my next question really kind of addresses that of how is the city council, how do they serve differently than the mayor and
Right.
the city clerk? You know, your role is very different than the
Yes.
mayor's and the city clerk. So
Right.
help us to understand how those are different.
Okay. The mayor's job is to make sure that the departments are running smoothly. He is over the department heads. The city council is not over the department heads. The clerk, she is the one that keeps all of our files very well organized and our finances. So that is her role. And each role has to go hand in hand together to make the city go forward. So yes, ours is more of the policy making and ordinances.
Yes. Does that also include budgeting issues as well?
Right.
I don't know, what is the city's budget? How much money do you all have to
Right.
navigate each year?
It's millions of dollars. It's not just 50 cents.
Right, that's right.
But we work, the city council has to approve the budget. So we have budget workshops. We had one last Tuesday. We will
Yes.
have another one this Tuesday. I think we're gonna skip because of the election, but the following council meeting,
Yes.
we will have a work session and go through the budget. And in the budget, you will see what department is asking for different things. And you've gotta have your operational budget in there.
Yes.
And then you've also got a capital outlay, and that is buying our fire trucks that we were able to buy this time.
Yes.
And we were able to also buy some equipment big equipment for our public works. It expanded to you notice the park and rec and painted the civic center, and then they added on a deck
Yes.
on the swimming pool. All of that is over and above your regular operation expenses.
Yes.
And you've got to decide this year which avenue you're going to go to get what. And we try to rotate our police cars to make sure our policemen are very good cars, so we keep that rotations of their fleet in there. So the city council does have input on that in the budget time. But it takes all of us to do that.
That is so true. And, that was one of the questions that I had for you is, if elected, what 3 steps would you take to put our city on firmer financial footing?
Okay. The most financial footings that we get is business taxes. If it is a fast food, or if it is a restaurant, or if it's an industrial, it doesn't matter. The majority of the budget is from tax dollars. And so that is something that if you're going to grow, if you want your town to go forward, you've got to be out there as a council person, mayor, everybody, it's a team. You've got to go out and look for some more businesses. For instance, MAPCO is coming. And it is going to be
exciting.
Oh, it's on the interstate, and we have been dealing with MAPCO for many, many, many years now. And so they have finally said that, Hearts is where we want to be next.
Wow.
So, and
That's
they are
huge.
just, yes, it is so good. And so with that coming, they will be right beside Cracker Barrel. And so it took a long time, and you can't just drop the ball on that. You got to keep going with it.
Yes.
For instance, Taco Bell wanted to move like Sonic did and have a new face for them. Well, it took a lot. I wasn't in this process, but the mayor was in this process, and it took a whole lot of Department of Transportation, as in for the paving of our highway here on Main Street. They tell us what we can and cannot do on 31.
Wow.
So they were talking about turn lanes, so it took a lot of sweat and hours and department heads that was into that, and then the council approves that. So it's a teamwork.
Well, one thing that I think would be interesting for people to understand is I think sometimes there's a perception that the city council's job starts at 5:30 when they show up for a work session on a Tuesday night and ends at 7:30 when they go home after the city council public meeting.
Right.
And and that happens twice a month, and then that's really it. But I bet that may not be true. So why don't you share with us what other work is happening day in and day out and week in and week out that maybe people don't understand?
Right. Oh no, it's not just a 5:30 to 7:30 job twice a month. It's a lot of behind the scenes, and I think that's the part I enjoy the most. Is the behind the scenes of you've got to go find out what's out there, you've got to bring it back, you've got to see if it's a fit for Hartselle. You've got to be a listening ear for people. If you're not a listening ear, you're missing. You're missing a lot because people, we are the city the people are. And if you're not able to listen to them, then you're saying, oh wow, you're not worth my time. But oh yes, you are. You are definitely worth my time and energy, and that's what makes Hartselle and makes it a great place to live. So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's great. City council people have to render decisions that often aren't popular, and they're difficult because you're putting your reputation on the line, you're setting yourself up to have tomatoes thrown at you. But maybe you can share how in the past and maybe even looking into the future, have you been willing to take on the responsibility of making decisions that are in the best interest of the public, even though they may be somewhat difficult? And then when a decision is rendered that may not have been your personal choice, how have you been able to reflect support for that decision?
Okay. All right. It's a very healthy if your council doesn't always say yes across the board. It's very healthy. That means that you are bringing different personalities and different ideas to the table. And so the table comes and you have a vote. Majority's going to rule. So if that is not exactly the way that you or I wanted it to go, then you need to absolutely say, folks, the majority has something kind of knowledge that maybe I didn't have.
Yes.
And so I need to go with it and go forward and not sit back and just say, oh man, I didn't get my way. And so you just got to go forward with it, and you've got to grab hold, and you've got to stay as unity, and you've got to work forward and keep this city going in the right direction. You can't be on the city council at all. It has to be a group effort.
That's great. That's great. Well, a couple other questions for you just regarding some issues is, do you think our Main Street in our downtown area is healthy and successful?
I've been here many years, about 30 years, and to my knowledge, this is the most healthiest downtown has ever looked in the years that I've lived here. Now, I know maybe way back when my grandfather could have, said the same thing. But wow, aren't you excited to be a part of this town when you go downtown? I was downtown Saturday and I popped in several stores. Every store I popped in has somebody in there shopping.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It was so wonderful to see that.
Yes.
And so yes, I think our town is thriving very well. It's always room for improvement.
Yes.
But I think it's a light that people want to come and be a part of.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So we did have a question from someone in our community that is right in the same vein. What, Virginia Alexander, is your vision for revitalizing all of Hartselle? And I think the question is rooted in, a lot of folks think it's just about downtown, but Hartselle also has the 31 quarter, and as I've heard you say before, it also includes the I-65, those exits that we have there. So how do you see revitalizing all of Hartselle so that it is more economically and physically attractive for current and prospective residents?
Have you seen 31 lately? It is just so blossoming. You just look at it. All the new businesses have come up on 31, and it's sparkling. It makes you just say, oh, this is my town.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to be here. Businesses are coming up. You've got to always remember that there is a 31, and you've always got to remember that there's traffic on 31, and some of the traffic isn't Hartselle traffic.
Yes,
You
that's
want to stop that traffic. You want to pull it off because they see something that they thoroughly enjoy. And so you do that, and you've got to constantly, while you're working with downtown residents in businesses, you've also got to bring in your 31 and your interstate businesses along with your industrial.
That's right.
You got to keep it all going.
That's right.
You know, so if you hear somebody's interested in going and open up something, then you want to say, well, we want to talk to you. You don't let the next town talk to them first. You want to be the first one.
That's right. That's right.
So,
And you know, I was sharing with someone earlier today that Hartselle is more than just the 14 or 15,000 that live and grow in Hartselle. We really represent more than 25,000 people in that 36840 zip code.
Yes.
And that's a lot of people that will come to live and work and play here in Hartselle.
Yes.
So, you know, we definitely want to create a place that is feeding those needs. And so,
when the ball tournaments come around, you're bringing in so many people. Well, you want them to eat and get their gasoline here.
Yes.
You know, you want to slow them down.
That's right.
And stop them, and then they will also see something they may want to come back and shop in.
That's right.
So, you know, we got some really wonderful shops here.
So this is a great question because we're all growing in our civic understanding, but how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our town?
Okay. I've been on the council for 4 years, and if anyone ever called me, text me, email me, I took the time to talk to that person because everybody's important. Everybody wants to be heard. And so I think that I could bring to the table to continue that I love to work with people.
Yes.
And so you have to have a heart for people to be able to do this. And people just make me go, you know? And so I love it if somebody's saying something good or somebody has a problem, you've got to be out there with your people.
Yes.
You've got to be out in the town because the town is Hartselle.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
the folks. Yeah.
That's what makes it unique and
It is.
special. Well, I'm going to begin to move towards closing us up, and so I just wanted to give you a second to share whatever you want to share, to begin to express or close up by expressing why you think you should be elected to the city council, and then what differentiates you from the other candidates, both those that are running and also maybe those that are serving. What makes you unique?
Okay. Thank you so much, Missy, for having me today. Thank the city for having me the last 4 years, and I do ask for your vote. What makes me different? I have a drive within me, and I love people and I love to serve. And if you don't have a drive to serve, then this probably is not your cup of tea. But you've got to be willing to love to be out there and to snatch that business away from the next town. You've got to be able to have a good perspective. I've been to several training classes, several classes on building your cities up and things like this. And you've got to have that to work in relationship between the other people in other, like for instance, the chamber and the school board and the utilities and the council. We have to work together.
Yes.
And I think I can do that.
Yes.
I've been doing it for 4 years, and trying to teach. If you're going at each other like this, your town's not going to go forward. But I think myself has the personality that I can work and go forward. The council is working and going forward at this moment, and would love to continue to go that direction.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us today?
Just thank you so much for having me, and thank the public for just ensuring their faith in me to have me as their council now, and hopefully in the future to continue.
Well, and I have said repeatedly to each candidate that's come, I just want to express my gratitude for all that you've done to invest in Hartselle by just taking this step forward. You know, you've done things that aren't comfortable, they've cost you financially, you have had to make hard decisions, but just your willingness to campaign and to put your name out there as a candidate for this very important role, it just makes this whole process healthier and more secure. And we're really grateful for the way that you have chosen to serve really selflessly in this process. So thank you.
Thank you, Missy.
Yes.
Enjoyed it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, public.